That evening, when I got home, I found myself intoxicated and feeling a little tired and melancholy. Talking about politics, personal matters, and work with my drinking buddies at the bar, the time flew by. Eventually, Emily, my son's spouse, returned to our abode. Throughout the day, my son had been on a business trip. She graciously served me an appetizing soup and offered me tea and cakes. Although we had a drink at the bar, we had hardly eaten, and I was hungry. As I sipped my tea, I happened to notice my sister-in-law pulling coffee from the top shelf of the cupboard. At that moment, her robe pulled up slightly, emphasizing her seductive figure. Depraved thoughts began to creep into my mind, clouding it. Despite trying to regain my composure, I couldn't take my eyes off the enchanting Emily. "You look so beautiful in that lovely robe," I said as I stood up and walked over to my sister-in-law and hugged her, but she pulled away and looked at me with frightened eyes. "What are you doing, Robert? You're very pretty. Are you drunk?" "I've had only a little to drink," I replied. Then I sat down and watched her drink her coffee. I wanted to pick the girl up in my arms, but I was stopped by the thought of her being my son's wife. "You, Emily, you must be tired today. Go and get some rest. I still need to wash the dishes and the floor. I'll do it myself. Get some rest. Alex chased you away. He doesn't care for such a beautiful girl." Emily blushed and averted her eyes. "Alex is away on a business trip for 2 weeks. Whatever." Emily started washing the dishes, and from the back, her figure seemed especially attractive. "Let me help you," I said. I stood behind her and put my arm around her waist. This time, she didn't pull away. I got bolder. I picked her up in my arms and carried her into the bedroom. "What about Alex?" asked Emily, panting. "Don't talk about him," I whispered. "In case he finds out, we won't tell him anything." "I can't do that." "You smell so wonderful." "Robert, what we're doing is wrong. You're like a rose in the garden, and the most beautiful one at that," I persuaded my sister-in-law. But Emily didn't give in right away. "Robert, Alex won't forgive. He won't admit it." I stood my ground. "Then how will I look in his eyes?" "Forget about everything. Come to me." Things began to happen slowly. Then we were silent for a long time. I hugged my sister-in-law. She was crying quietly. "Don't cry, Emily. I give you my word that I will keep this secret." My son returned 2 weeks later. Naturally, we did not discuss what had happened between us. At present, I am not caring for my grandson, but for my son. However, that is a story for another time.